Rick, let me start with this. Today, NBA season canceled. What are the odds?
Yeah.
What are your odds today?
Oh, I'd say it's probably 60-40 right now.
Wow.
That it's canceled. The reality is that the farther down the line we get, the harder it is to start this up and the ramifications on next season. I know a lot of people are excited about the idea of let's just change the NBA universe, and that's enticing, and the NBA is certainly progressive and forward-thinking, and so if any league would, it would be the NBA, but there's a lot to consider that if you do go that direction, you can't go back. You know, once you occupy a different space in the sports calendar, you're going to have to stay there, particularly in the case of you move it back and you're playing December through August, say. Now to change it up and say, hey, you know what, we're going to go back to October through June would be a very difficult thing. So if they make that move, then they have to look at it as they're doing it permanently. And if they don't make that move, if they don't want to make that move, then, I mean, realistically, the most optimistic I can be is that we're playing playoffs in July. And here's the thing, like right now, right today, players, the league, the owners, everybody's in concert with, man, we really want to play. We really want to crown a champion this year. We really want to see that happen. But then when you begin to consider how artificial crowning that champion will be, these guys being out for 2.5, 3 months, it's like you're starting the season over. Yeah. You're going to – I mean, there's going to be so many elements that you're not going to look at it as a real champion anyway. And I think when that reality hits, then everybody's going to go, is it really a good idea? And that commitment that we have right now is going to waver. Yeah, well, it's interesting. If you started the season July 15th, which I propose, and you just do, the top 6 teams, get rid of the first round, basically. You go the best 4 teams, like Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz. That's who we thought was good anyway. But the problem being, to your point, you'd probably finish around Labor Day. Well, you can't start the season up in October again. So I think – Right. So there was a story yesterday. And then the other part is that you are you're looking at, you're not going to do it with crowds. Probably going to do it in smaller venues where you can control the environment. I mean, that's why even with guys coming into facilities, I mean, as of what was it? We shut it down. Today is officially the day where all facilities are closed. Prior to this, the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, a few other teams were having players come in, but they scheduled it so they would only come in 2 at a time. You could have, and you would have one guy, one coach at one basket. Those were the league rules. You could have one guy in the weight room, and then everything had to be sanitized. All the equipment had to be sanitized, and you brought the new wave in. And that was the extent of workouts with the facilities open. So it just, when you begin to look at the reality of trying to contain this and getting back to playing, I know we all want to play. The best thing that happened to me so far today is that my wife sent a text message out that the hash browns were ready. And my son came and said, "Can I have yours, Dad?" Like, those are the small joys that I'm getting out of life right now. Not having the NBA, not having sports, it's made me realize that what a huge vacuum it's created. Yeah, I mean, once they closed the practice facilities, this morning was the first time I got up, and I really thought, oh, we're probably not going to have a season, because you can't ask guys to play an abridged season and not let them be in shape. It takes at least 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, football, basketball, these are the world's best athletes. You can't have 6 workouts, cardio workouts, and go play. So, I mean, I'm with you now. I think you could do it. I do think you could start your playoffs in 4 months. I think it's possible. But the more I read about this Corona stuff, now here's the one thing. LeBron has influence. I don't think LeBron wants to throw his 17th year, his MVP level year away. What about the argument that LeBron's going to push for, let's finish this thing up? Yeah, I could see that. On the other hand, it's going to be so artificial. And I look at the Lakers in particular, and I've talked to a number of people around the league about this fact that older players are going to have a harder time ramping up and are going to be more prone to injury. I talked to Anthony Tolliver, who's a vet. He built his own half-court gym in Texas. That's why he left Memphis and went home, because he can actually get better workouts at home with his. He's got a weight room set up. He's got, some of the veterans who have had to kind of keep themselves ready on their own, and the top echelon guys are better prepared for this. I'm sure LeBron is able to stay in shape, but there are plenty of other guys, including an entire Lakers team being one of the older teams in the league. He's got to know that he's coming back with a compromised team. And so I think there's probably, LeBron doesn't want to throw this away. It's going to take away something that he could have added to his legacy that would have been profound. But I also, again, like, the longer this goes on and you start like figuring out the collateral damage, you begin to realize I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be like, if he felt good about winning a month ago, I don't know if he's going to feel the same way a month from now.
Sports is habit, Rick. Is the NBA concerned at all? Sports fans get out of a habit. They move to football sooner. You start this October and November, they had no ratings. Is there concern, do you think, in the league office? Listen, man, once we get out of people's habits, we've seen what happens to hockey when they had, a season blown out. It doesn't help the numbers. I don't wonder if there's concern about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's why they would even entertain moving where they are in the sports landscape on the sports calendar, because if you look at starting in December and going through July or August, you get to occupy a lot of dead parts in the sports calendar. You're suddenly now really the hottest commodity. And so I know that is attractive. But here's the other part where I think that the NBA is not as concerned about the ratings and attendance, which is that they have so much revenue from other elements, which is, licensing on games and merchandise. And they have this vast global fan base of people who will never attend a game and will never even buy an NBA league pass. So I think there's concern in how it looks, whether it's a hot commodity or not a hot commodity, and the fact that we rate things based on TV ratings and attendance for most sports. But the NBA has been in a unique place. Their challenge, and I think we've talked about this before, is that and you see it with the NFL right now. The NFL has taken over social media in a way that it never did when the NBA was alive, because now it's the only thing going for us to consume that way, and it's exciting. Well, the NBA has owned that, and the only thing that they haven't been able to do is monetize it. That's what they're looking to do.
Rick, best to you and your family, buddy.
And same to you, Colin, and to all the listeners out there. Stay safe. Take it as a for real thing, and keep in mind that we're all in this together, and we can all keep each other safe.
Thanks, man.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.